This weekend, I'll be spending time with your wife, and for that favor, you'll keep your job and get a bonus. Those were the words my boss, Jeff Carter, dropped in front of 20 people at the company party like he was asking to borrow my stapler. I looked at him, stunned. Everyone froze. I expected him to laugh, to say it was a joke. A prank. A sick attempt at office humor. But he didn't. He raised his glass and smiled like it was the most normal thing in the world. My eyes darted to Madison, my wife. My wife. And before I could say anything, before I could even process the filth that just came out of his mouth, she nodded. I agree, she said, her voice calm, almost playful. I felt like someone poured boiling acid down my spine. People looked at each other. Some awkwardly laughed. Others looked away, pretending not to hear. But I heard it. Clear as day. She agreed. No hesitation. No protest. Just agreement. 12 years of marriage. Burned to the ground in 5 seconds. Let me tell you something about betrayal. It doesn't start with lies. It starts with indifference. That moment, she didn't look at me. She looked through me. Like I wasn't her husband. Like I was just some idiot in a cheap suit, getting in the way of her next move up the ladder. And here's the part no one tells you. When you're stabbed in the back like that, you don't feel pain first. You feel numb. You're too shocked to react. I just stood there, frozen. Like a coward. Like AF ****ing statue. Jeff walked off, still smiling. Madison stayed behind, sipping wine, fixing her lipstick in the reflection of her phone. I finally asked, Are you insane? You're actually going to spend the weekend with him? She didn't even flinch. Just shrugged. It's not a big deal, Brandon. He's our boss. Grow up. It's a business trip. A business trip? He basically said out loud he was going to use her like a weekend toy, and she called it a business trip. I felt the rage boiling under my skin, but something told me not to explode. Not yet. I watched her walk away and laugh with her friends like nothing had happened. She wore that blue dress, the one I bought her 3 anniversaries ago. The same one I remembered slowly unzipping during a weekend trip to the lake. That memory? Burned. Erased. Poisoned. The moment I got home, I sat in my car for 20 minutes just staring at the dashboard. Breathing heavy. Clenching the steering wheel. That's when I made the decision. This wasn't going to end with me crying. It was going to end on my terms. I didn't know exactly how yet. But something inside me flipped. I wasn't going to be the quiet, betrayed husband. I was going to be the guy who turned this whole damn thing upside down. You want to play dirty? I'll show you what dirty really looks like. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling while Madison laid beside me, breathing steady like she hadn't just agreed to something that shattered our marriage. She smelled like wine and someone else's approval. Her phone buzzed once around 2:14 a.m. I didn't need to check it. I already knew who it was. By morning, she was humming in the bathroom, getting ready like it was any other day. Only it wasn't. It was Friday. The day she was supposed to leave for her business trip. The one she never asked me about. The one I was never meant to know the details of. She came out in a tight beige dress, heels clicking, her hair done up like she was walking a red carpet. Not a single trace of guilt on her face. If anything, she looked excited. Wish me luck. She smiled. I forced a nod. Send me the hotel address just in case something happens, I said, trying to keep my voice from shaking. She paused. Why? Because if you disappear, I need to know where to start looking. She rolled her eyes, mumbled something about me being dramatic, and walked out the door. That was her mistake. Because she did send the address. And I did follow her. 2 hours later, I was parked across from the Westvale Grand, a 5-star hotel in the city where Carter always booked his conferences. It was all I needed to know. I sat in my car, watching people come and go. Then I saw her. Madison. Stepping out of an Uber in that same beige dress, heels clicking, looking like she was about to win an Oscar for Best Actress in a Double Life. And right behind her, Carter. He didn't even try to be subtle. Arm around her waist. Whispering something in her ear that made her giggle like a teenager. My throat went dry. My palms were shaking. I pulled out my phone and started filming. I filmed her smile. I filmed the moment he smacked her ass before they walked in. And I filmed the part where she turned to make sure no one was watching, only she didn't know I was. That night, she didn't come home. She didn't text. Didn't call. Just vanished into that hotel room and left me to drown in silence. But I wasn't just sitting at home sulking. While she played house with my boss, I played chess. I uploaded the video to my cloud drive, sent it to a burner email, backed it up twice. Then I pulled every document I had, our marriage license, shared bank accounts, property titles. I made an appointment with a divorce attorney. Not because I was ready to file yet, but because I wanted to know every move before I made it. The next morning, she returned like nothing had happened. Walked in carrying coffee for both of us. Tossed me a cup like she just came from yoga. Had a great time. We'll talk later, I'm exhausted, she said, walking upstairs. I followed. Was it worth it? She turned at the top of the stairs. What are you talking about now? The hotel. Carter. The way he touched you like he owned you. Her eyes widened for a second. Just 1 second. Then she smiled. So you followed me. That's pathetic, Brandon. No. What's pathetic is throwing away a marriage for a weekend with your boss. She shrugged. Don't act like this is a big deal. Everyone does this in the corporate world. It's not like I did anything you haven't thought about. And right there, I knew. She didn't just cross the line. She erased it. This wasn't a mistake. This was who she was now. And I wasn't going to let her win. The moment she said, "Everyone does this," I stopped arguing. There was no point. She'd already built a whole reality where betrayal was justified. Where her lies were strategy, and I was just too small-minded to understand the game. So I played along. Smiled. Nodded. Even kissed her forehead. Because if she wanted to play me for a fool, I was going to let her believe it, just long enough for me to flip the script. That afternoon, she left for a spa appointment. I knew she wasn't going to any spa. I didn't care anymore. What mattered now was the setup. I pulled out the hard drive I'd been secretly backing up everything to: texts, photos, screenshots of her conversations with Carter, cloud data from her phone. I had it all. She was stupid enough to use the same password for everything, Madison92. It was like she wanted to get caught. Or maybe she thought I'd never dare look. But I did. And I found everything. Not just messages to Carter. No. There were more. There were 3 other names, Dylan, Reese, and Evan. All of them saved under fake labels like HR notes or meeting follow-up. But the content was unmistakable. Messages like, "Tonight was wild. Didn't think I'd enjoy that much attention from 2 guys in one night, smirking face." Or, "Don't worry, Brandon is clueless. I've trained him to stay in his lane." And photos. Disgusting, degrading, cocky selfies with hotel beds in the background and champagne in hand. And suddenly I realized. Carter wasn't the only betrayal. He was just the latest. I felt sick. Literally had to step outside, breathe, stop myself from putting a fist through the wall. But then, I laughed. Not out of humor, but because I finally saw the truth. Madison wasn't a mistake. She was a warning. A walking red flag I kept trying to paint white. But no more. I texted her. "Hey babe. Got dinner reservations for tonight. Let's dress up and pretend like we're still that happy couple everyone envies." She replied with a heart emoji and a "Finally! Something romantic." Oh, it was going to be romantic, all right. I booked a private room at La Vienne, expensive, classy, full of people we knew from work. I made sure to book it for 7 p.m. on the dot. Then I invited 2 more people behind her back. First, Jeff Carter. Second, his wife. Yep. The man who thought he could toss me a promotion for my wife's time didn't know I had his sweet little secret saved in glorious HD. But I wasn't done yet. I also printed copies of the texts. Made a file. Labeled it Performance Reviews. Slipped it into a manila folder with Madison's name on the front and set it aside for the restaurant. She walked out of the bedroom that evening glowing, wearing a red dress I hadn't seen in months. "You're really pulling out all the stops, huh?" she said, kissing my cheek. "Oh, I'm just getting started," I replied. We got to the restaurant. Private room, candlelight, her favorite wine already on the table. She was soaking it all up. Looking around, smiling, giddy. That lasted until the door opened. Jeff stepped in first. Then his wife, Claire. The woman Madison didn't even know existed until that moment. Madison's smile dropped like a dead bird. She turned to me, confusion morphing into panic. "Brandon, what is this?" I slid the manila folder across the table. "Just a little dinner with colleagues," I said. "Figured we should all talk." Madison's hand trembled as she reached for the folder, her red-painted nails now looking more like warning lights than polish. Her eyes scanned the label. "Performance reviews, confidential." She hesitated. Claire, Jeff's wife, took a seat directly across from Madison, calm and collected like a woman who already knew the storm was about to hit. Jeff didn't sit. He hovered near the door like he wanted to run, but couldn't. He hadn't figured out yet who knew what. And I made sure that fear sat right between his ribs. "Brandon," Madison hissed in a whisper, still not opening the folder. "What is this? What the hell is going on?" "Open it," I said, my voice flat. "You'll find it illuminating." She glanced at Jeff. He wouldn't meet her eyes. She opened it. And her breath hitched. Page after page. Screenshots. Photos. Transcripts. Her entire double life, laid out like an autopsy. There were even dates and timestamps, matched with credit card receipts and phone records. I'd built the entire timeline. She couldn't deny a single second of it. Claire leaned forward, her voice steady but icy. "So this is the woman you've been texting at 3 a.m. about champagne and hotel beds? Madison, right?" Jeff went pale. Madison looked like a fish pulled from water, gasping, desperate, eyes wide with disbelief. This isn't what it looks like," she stammered. "Brandon, I can explain." "Don't," I interrupted. "You had a dozen chances to explain. This isn't a misunderstanding. It's a pattern. It's your personality." Jeff finally spoke up. "Look, Brandon, maybe we should talk privately. No need to drag everyone into—" "Sit the hell down," Claire snapped. "You're not going anywhere. I canceled your corporate card, changed the locks, and by the way, my brother? He's a lawyer. So you can save the charm for the judge." Jeff actually sat. For once, the arrogant executive had nothing to say. Madison, on the other hand, reached across the table like she suddenly remembered she was married. "Brandon, please. Let's go somewhere. We can fix this. It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake." "Mistake?" I scoffed. "Which one? Carter? Dylan? Or the guy you called HR note number 3? Be specific." She froze. That's when I dropped the last piece. I turned my phone to speaker and hit play on a recording. Her voice filled the room. One of her late-night voice messages, meant for Dylan. "Brandon's sweet, but he's so boring. I don't even know why I married him. He's too safe. I need excitement." Madison's hand flew to her mouth. Claire leaned back with a small, satisfied shake of her head. Jeff looked like he aged 10 years in 10 seconds. "And me?" I smiled. I stood, pushed in my chair, and looked Madison dead in the eyes. "You were right about one thing, though. I am safe. I'm the guy who builds a life. A future. Stability. But you? You want fireworks. You want danger. So go light yourself up." Then I turned to Claire. "If you ever want to collaborate on burning both of them to the ground legally, I'm available." She raised her glass. "Let's talk." As I walked out, I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel loss. I felt free. Behind me, I heard Madison's voice crack. "Brandon, please don't do this." But I didn't stop. Because she already did this. She just never thought I'd hit back harder. I didn't go home that night. Not because I couldn't. Because I wouldn't. Let her sit in that silence. Let her sleep alone in the bed she defiled with her lies. I checked into a hotel across town, ordered a whiskey neat, and for the first time in months, maybe years, I slept like a man with a clear mission. The next morning, I wasn't groggy. I wasn't broken. I was focused. Step 2 of my plan was already in motion. You see, Madison always thought she was untouchable. The pretty wife, the corporate darling, the woman who could smile and get away with anything. And maybe, for a while, she was. But she made one critical mistake: she underestimated the quiet guy. She never thought I'd fight back. I emailed the full folder of evidence, including her explicit texts and hotel footage, to our company's anonymous ethics department. I made sure to highlight Carter's involvement. The company couldn't bury it. Not with that much detail. Especially not with Carter's wife already calling HR and threatening legal action. By noon, both of them were suspended for internal review. And by 4 p.m., Carter's name had been scrubbed from the company website. Just like that. Gone. Years of networking, erased by a man he thought was too weak to matter. But the best part? The fallout wasn't even the revenge. That came at the gala. Every year, our company holds a massive end-of-year charity gala, black tie, press coverage, the whole 9 yards. Madison had been preparing for it for weeks. She even ordered a custom dress and posted cryptic little hints online about the look that would slay. I still had access to her calendar. I knew exactly when she'd arrive. So I arrived first. With a +1. Someone she knew. Someone who made her blood boil. Natalie. Madison's former best friend, the one she cut off 2 years ago because Natalie had too many opinions. The real reason? Natalie once told Madison that if she ever cheated on me, she'd wake up missing her veneers. Let's just say Natalie wasn't the forgiving type. She stepped into that ballroom like a grenade in heels. Madison spotted us the moment we entered. Her jaw dropped, her fake smile cracking instantly. She was on Carter's arm, poor bastard still pretending everything was fine even with a pink slip in his email inbox. "Wow," Natalie whispered to me, locking eyes with Madison. "She looks like someone just stepped on her soul." "Good," I replied. "Let's crush the rest of it." We made our way to the center floor, posing for photos, laughing like high school sweethearts on a comeback tour. Madison hovered near the bar, glass shaking in her hand. Then she did what she always does, pretended like nothing was wrong. She walked up to us, smile forced. "Brandon, really? Her?" Natalie didn't flinch. "You lose loyalty, you lose privileges." Madison's eyes flicked to me, her voice low and venomous. "You're making a scene." "No," I said, turning slightly so the cameras could catch her frozen expression. "I'm making a point." I leaned in close enough for only her to hear. "You built this mess. I'm just making sure everyone sees the blueprint." She tried to speak, but Natalie cut her off. "You're lucky you're even still in this building. If this place had any standards, your pass would have deactivated the second you climbed into Carter's lap." Carter grabbed Madison's arm. "We need to go." She pulled away. "No. I want to talk to Brandon. Alone." But I wasn't hers to summon anymore. I turned my back. Took Natalie's hand. And we walked away, leaving Madison alone in a sea of flashing lights and judgmental eyes. She had spent months trying to control the narrative. But now, I was writing the story. And she was just another villain in the prologue. 3 days after the gala, Madison messaged me. "Can we talk?" I stared at the screen like it was written by someone else. The same woman who giggled in a hotel lobby with her boss now wanted a heart-to-heart. No apology. No regret. Just a vague plea to talk, like the explosion she caused was just a minor inconvenience. I left her on read. Then I went to work dismantling her comfort zone, piece by piece. She still lived in our house, thinking I'd avoid the legal battle, that I'd fold to keep the peace. But peace was never the goal. War was. And I had already won the first battle. Remember that burner phone I mentioned? It held more than just backup files. It held voice recordings. Not just hers, Carter's too. She once put him on speaker during one of their playful talks and forgot I was in the next room. I recorded the whole thing. "Your husband's soft. You're better off investing in someone who actually knows how to take control." That voice clip, along with the messages, was forwarded to Carter's wife's divorce attorney. She filed the next morning. Spousal misconduct, workplace abuse, the works. She came after his assets like a heat-seeking missile. And Madison? She had no clue I orchestrated it. That same week, I contacted our mortgage broker. Since the house was under both names but I had proof of infidelity, it gave me leverage. More than she expected. My lawyer filed for divorce, and along with it, a motion to freeze our shared assets until the hearing. She came home one day and her credit card got declined trying to buy makeup online. She called me. I answered this time. Brandon, what the hell is going on with our accounts? Our accounts? I said calmly. I froze them. You can't do that. I have things to pay. Use your integrity. That should be accepted everywhere, right? Don't be an asshole. You first. She hung up. The next day, she tried showing up at my office, dressed like she thought she could still seduce her way out of accountability. Tight dress, fake tears, that voice she used to use when she wanted something. You're destroying everything, she whispered in the hallway. Do you really want to burn it all down? No, I said. I want you to watch it burn and know you lit the match. And then came the final blow. See, Madison had a side hustle, an online brand deal with a small beauty company. She had contracts, social media promo work, sponsored posts. She thought it made her independent. But what she didn't know was that the CEO of the company she worked with was Natalie's cousin. I made one call. She was dropped within 24 hours. Just like that, her side income vanished. Her credit froze. Her name was no longer glowing, it was scorched. Word spreads fast when the same people she tried to impress now see her as radioactive. She tried texting again. I don't deserve this. You're ruining my life. And I didn't reply. Because some messages deserve silence louder than any scream. Let her feel ignored. Let her sit in the home I would soon own alone. Let her realize that in trying to upgrade her life, she accidentally deleted it. And the best part? I wasn't even finished. Court day came faster than either of us expected. Madison showed up dressed like a widow at a charity gala, black dress, subtle makeup, not a hint of red or glitter or the confidence she used to weaponize. She didn't smile. She didn't smirk. She just sat across from me at the hearing table, clinging to a leather folder like it could save her from the truth. She expected sympathy from the judge. She expected me to cave. What she didn't expect. My lawyer handing over a 47-page evidence packet labeled Exhibit a Pattern of Deception. Inside were timelines, bank statements, hotel receipts, text message logs, screenshots, recorded calls, everything. Even Carter's handwritten. Can't wait to taste you again. Notes she once foolishly left in her purse. Dated. Initialed. Photographed. The judge raised his eyebrows. Madison shifted in her seat like it was suddenly on fire. Her lawyer tried to object, citing invasion of privacy. My attorney leaned forward and said, Your Honor, my client collected this information while still legally residing in their shared household, from a device registered under his name. Overruled. Strike one. We weren't just going for divorce. We were going for 50-50 on all marital property, full ownership of the house, and this is where it got poetic. Financial reimbursement for emotional damages and reputational harm, supported by Madison's own email threads where she mocked me as a beta husband who never do anything anyway. Strike two. Then came the final blow. Madison had asked for spousal support, because of course she did. She assumed the court would grant it automatically. Claimed she sacrificed her career for our marriage. We pulled out her social media sponsorships, her affiliate marketing contracts, and text messages where she bragged about manipulating companies and dating Carter for free perks and exposure. We showed she was making nearly as much as I was, until she got herself dropped from every brand she touched. Strike three. The judge looked at her like she just wasted his lunch break. Then he said the words I waited months to hear. Ms. Lewis, I see no grounds for spousal support, nor for continued co-ownership of the home, as your actions directly undermined the marital contract. As of this ruling, Mr. Lewis will retain the house, the vehicles, and all joint financial accounts pending final division. You will vacate the property within 7 business days. I didn't cheer. I didn't grin. I just nodded. Madison turned toward me, her voice cracking like glass under weight. Brandon, please. Don't do this. We can fix it. We were happy once. I looked her straight in the eye. No, Madison. I was happy. You were just pretending. She blinked. Silent now. The judge banged the gavel. Court is adjourned. And that was it. 12 years of marriage. Over in 12 minutes. She followed me out to the courthouse steps. Reporters were swarming, mostly after Carter, who was going through his own public crucifixion thanks to leaked HR complaints, and now a pending lawsuit from his own wife. Madison tried to grab my arm. I have nowhere to go. Should have thought about that before turning our marriage into a group project, I said without stopping. She stood there, surrounded by flashing cameras and people whispering, trying to keep her lips from trembling. But there was no one left to blame. No safety net. No plan B. She wasn't the smart, sexy wife anymore. She was the cautionary tale. And I walked down those courthouse steps free. No chains. No lies. No dead weight dragging behind me. 7 days passed. I changed the locks on the house the moment the clock struck midnight on the final day Madison was legally allowed to stay. She didn't try to push back. She knew better now. I think deep down she realized the game was over, the mask cracked, the charm expired, and the audience had turned on her. She left quietly. No crying. No screaming. Just one last look at the home she used to rule like a queen, now stripped of her crown and keys. I stood at the window as she climbed into the back of a car, one of those ride-share economy ones. Fitting. She stared up for a moment like she expected me to appear and stop her, tell her it was all a bad dream, that I still loved her. But I didn't. I walked away. It was the most powerful silence of my life. In the weeks that followed, I rebuilt fast. Not because I was trying to prove anything, but because she wasn't in my way anymore. The distractions were gone. The constant manipulation. The pretending. The soul-sucking pressure of trying to love someone who weaponized affection. Gone. And what replaced it? Peace. Not loud, not cinematic, just real, solid peace. The kind you feel when you open your eyes in the morning, and don't dread the day before it starts. The kind that lets you sleep without triple-checking messages or rehearsing arguments in your head. I kept the house. Redesigned it. Ripped out the bedroom carpet, because that floor saw too much betrayal to survive. Got a new bed. New sheets. New scent diffusers. It wasn't just a redecoration. It was an exorcism. I even painted over the red accent wall in the living room she used to adore. That wall was her signature. Now it's a muted charcoal gray, mine. One evening I got a letter. Handwritten. No return address. It was from Madison. I know I can't undo what I did. But I hope one day you'll remember something good about us. I'm staying with a friend for now. Trying to figure out who I am without you. Maybe that's what I should have done in the first place. I didn't reply. She had 12 years to figure that out. And now, she gets to figure it out alone. As for Carter? He's unemployed, under investigation for multiple workplace violations, and divorced. I heard from a former colleague that he's living in a rented studio apartment, and applying for jobs well below his former pay grade. His name's poison in corporate circles. Good. Let them both rot in the memories of what they lost. Now, if you've made it this far, and you're a man who's been through it, betrayed, lied to, used, listen to me. You don't win by begging. You don't win by screaming. You win by staying calm, collecting your pieces, and building something so solid they can never touch it again. Don't let her break you. Don't let her words define you. Let her watch you thrive. Let her regret. And don't ever apologize for choosing yourself after someone else decided you weren't enough. Because you were. You still are. She just didn't deserve you.